and glorious texture is the order of the day with today's pattern. This is the Granny Mesh Shawl, a light and airy accessory that is really easy to make and a nice quick one to whiz up. It really literally falls off your hook. I'm Gemma from Concrete Gems Crochet, and today I want to show you how to make this gorgeous shawl. So for this shawl, I worked in US terms, and I'm going to be speaking in US terms here. So if you're not sure about US terms, go and look them up. But basically, where I say a DC, it's a UK treble, and where I say, and that's pretty much it actually. I think that's all I cover in this pattern. So as you can see, it's a nice open texture, and it's got a repeating pattern of these two kind of granny stitch rows and two open mesh rows. So there's a 4-row pattern repeat, and you can make yours as big as you like. So let's have a look at the yarn, shall we? For the pattern, I used Riot DK by King Cole. It's 100 grams and it's 30% wool and 70% premium acrylic, and you get 324 yards per 100 grams. For this sample, however, I am going to be using Starcraft Knit Me Crochet Me, which is another double knitting, and it is 80% acrylic, 20% wool, and 317 yards per 100 meters. So it's quite similar, but I wanted to see what it looked like in this gorgeous yarn as well. So you'll also need a 4.5mm hook, some scissors, and stitch markers often help as well. The gauge for this project is 6 groups of the 3 DC clusters, so these cluster bits here. So that's your classic granny stitch. So 6 groups of those and 8 rows, so over the set pattern. So you can just do a few rows of the granny stitch just to see. It's easier than doing the pattern, which works on kind of on the diagonal. So if you just do it in straight rows, it's easier to be able to measure to see if you meet the gauge. Obviously it doesn't matter as long as you're happy with the drape for this pattern, because it is a shawl. So if it's slightly bigger or smaller, it doesn't actually matter. And in actual fact, you can make your shawl any size by continuing to repeat rows 3 to 6 as many or as few times as you desire. My shawl measured 33 inches tall by 50 inches wide, but obviously if you change anything, yours will be a different size. Okay, and if you want to keep track of the number of stitches per row, the best way to do this is to count every 4th row from row 2 onwards. So row 2, row 6, row 10, 14, 18, etc. And the number of 3 DC, so these 3 double crochet clusters, will increase by 12 every 4th row. So row 2 has 4, and then you need to do the adding up. Row 2 has 4 and onwards like that. So row 6 has 16, row 10 has 28, row 14 has 40, so on, so on. Okay, I think that's all the information you need, so let's get started. Okay, so we're going to start with a magic ring. So to do that, I wrap my yarn around my fingers like this and grab the yarn through the middle, and then I'm just going to hold that still whilst I secure my working end of my yarn, and then I'm going to chain 1 to secure that. Okay, and then we're going to work a stacked double crochet. Okay, so this is an alternative to doing 3 chains. You can do 3 chains if you prefer, but I prefer the stacked double crochet, so I'll show you that now. So you insert your hook into the loop, grab the yarn and pull through, and then yarn over and pull through 2. And then we're going to work, so that's like a single crochet. Then we're going to work into the side of the stitch. So ideally you get both of those, if you can see that there, both of those side bar bits, yarn over and pull through, and then yarn over and pull through 2. So that creates a stacked double crochet, okay? And it looks like a normal double crochet, especially once you've got all the other bits on there as well. So then we're going to follow that by 2 double crochets, okay, into the magic ring. Okay, then we chain 2. The yarn's gone a bit loose, sorry about that. And then we do 3 more double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and that is row 1. So now what we're going to do is tighten our ring. So pull that tight. And you can sew it in now, or you can sew it in later, whichever you prefer. And then we're going to turn our work. Okay, so whilst we started with a magic ring, which is normally used for circles, we are still working in rows, and they are turned rows. So we're going to start row 2 with a stacked double crochet. So straight away you insert into the stitch, yarn over and pull through. So you see there was no chain 1, yarn over, pull through 2. Then we go through the side, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2. Now remember to pull up to the height of the stitch for those, because they can be a bit short if you're not careful. Okay, and then we're going to do 2 double crochets all in that same first stitch. Okay, so where we had the stacked double crochet, we're also going to do 2 more double crochets in there. Ooh, the colour, pretty. And then we're going to skip these next 2 stitches, and we're going to do 3 double crochets and chain 2 and 3 double crochets all in this chain 2 space here. Okay, 1, and this is creating like the corner, like the middle point of the shawl. 3 double crochets, chain 2, and then 3 more double crochets. Oh, it changes colour quick, this yarn. Okay. There we go. And then we're going to do 3 double crochets into the very last stitch. Now that was our stacked stitch, so make sure you get the right one. Best way to do it is to find your your first DC here and count 1, 2, so it's into there. We're going to work, and we're going to do 3 double crochets. Okay, and that is row 2 completed. Oh, sorry, trying to untangle some yarn. So on to row 3, we turn. Again, we start with a stacked double crochet. Working into that side, just as we did before, and 2 more DCs. Okay, then we're going to skip the next stitch. We're not skipping the whole, we're not working into the space anymore, we're working into the tops of the stitches. So we're skipping 1 stitch, and we are chaining 1 for the skip stitch, and then we're going to double crochet into the next stitch. And we're going to repeat that across. So we chain 1, we skip the next stitch, which is that one, and we double crochet in the next stitch. And we do that until the penultimate stitch before the chain 2 space, which we've got to now. And then we chain 1 and we skip that last stitch. Then we're going to do our 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochet into the chain 2 space. Okay, and that's going to create that point. It's quite a pointy cardigan, this, I'll tell you that. Okay, so we've done that. Then, whoops, then we're going to skip the next stitch and chain one. So that's that one. Make sure the one that you're skipping is, it might be a bit hidden by the 3 double crochet, so just be careful with that. So then we DC into the middle one, the next one, chain one, skip one, double crochet into the next one, chain one, skip one, and that's to the last stitch, and then we do 3 double crochets in the last stitch. And that is row 3 complete. Okay, so let's turn and move on to row 4. So we start with our stacked DC again, going straight into the first stitch, no need for a chain, and then into that side of that stitch there to do that. And then we're going to do 2 more double crochets into that first stitch. Oh dear. Okay, so then we're going to skip the next stitch and chain one, and we're going to double crochet into the next stitch. So I'm skipping this one, going into this one with a double crochet, then we're going to chain one and skip the next stitch and go into the next one with a double crochet. So now you can see we're working into the tops of the mesh stitch that we had from the row below. So chain one, skip the next stitch into the top of that next stitch. You continue working that until you get to the chain 2 space. So here we're going to skip that one and then go into that one. Oops. Chain one, skip that one and go into the last one. Okay, and then straight away we're going to do our 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet into the chain 2 corner space. So you've effectively now got 4 double crochets all next to each other there, and that is correct. And then we're going to do a double crochet in the next stitch, and then chain one, skip 1 stitch, double crochet, chain one, skip 1 stitch, double crochet, and continue that. Until you get to the beginning. So we're chaining 1, skipping that chain, going into that stitch, and we chain 1 and skip the last stitch, and then in the very last stitch we're going to do our 3 double crochets. Okay, you can see the triangle shape starting to form now. It's our point like that. Okay, so we move on to row 5 now, and we turn. Row 5 turns it back into our granny stitch after we've done our mesh stitch here. So we do our stacked double crochet in the first stitch, and then 2 double crochets in the same stitch, then we're going to skip the next 2 stitches or chain spaces. Okay, and we're going to do, so we skip that one and we skip that one, and then we're going to do 3 double crochet in the next stitch or the next chain 1 space. So 1, 2, we get to a chain 1 space, so we do 3 double crochets in that chain 1 space, all of them in that chain 1 space. Okay, then we skip the next 2, 1, 2, so we're skipping 1 stitch and 1 chain. We're doing 3 double crochets in the next stitch, which happens to be in the top of the DC, but if it was a chain space, you'd do it in the chain space. Okay, so then we skip the next 2 stitches, so that's the chain and the stitch, and we do 3 double crochets in the next one. Okay, and we carry on that until we get to the 3 double crochet cluster at the end. Okay, so that's this. So we've got skip 1, 2, and we do our 3 double crochet cluster in that last stitch. Okay, so now we've got to this 3 double crochet cluster. Remember, that was the 4th one. That was our final one of the mesh before we did our 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet. So it's this 3 double crochet cluster that we're looking at here. So now we're going to do 3 double crochets in the middle stitch of the 3 double crochets. So rather than skipping 2, we've only actually skipped 1 now, if that makes sense. And then we're going to do 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet in our central chain 2 space as usual. So it looks a bit bunchy, but it works out fine when you get to the next row. Okay, so that's our central 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet. So then we're going to do 3 double crochet in the middle DC of the next cluster. So that's this cluster of 3 here. So we're going to do 3 into that one. 1, 2, 3. And then we're back to our repeat. So then we're skipping that stitch. No, we're not back to our repeat quite. We're skipping that stitch, and then we're doing our 3 double crochet in the top of the next stitch. That's it. Oops. Now we're going to skip 2 stitches or chain spaces. So that's 1, 2, and then we 3 double crochet into that next chain space. Skip 2, 1, 2, 3 double crochets into the top of that stitch. Skip 2, 3 double crochets in the chain space. Oops, sorry. Skip 2, 3 double crochets in the last stitch. Oops. Oh dear, sorry. Messed that up. It's not going through. All you can see is my finger. Right. So we do 3 double crochets in the last stitch. This is very interesting, this pattern, how it's coming. Looks cool. Okay, so that is the end of row 5. And the thing to watch out for is this bit at the top, okay? Where you're working into the middle of those 3 DC, and then you're just skipping 1 before you go back to skipping 2. Okay? Then we turn. For row 6, we're going to start with our stacked double crochet as usual, and our 2 double crochets into that first stitch along with the stacked double crochet. Okay. And then we're just going to work 3 double crochets in between the 3 double crochet clusters, okay? Can whip along those. So into every space between the clusters we're working 3 double crochets. And then when you get to the chain 2 space, you're working 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet as usual, and you're just going to continue that all the way across this row. So that's the end of row 6 now, and that is your repeat set up. So we are literally just going to be repeating rows 3 to 6 until your shawl is the size that you want it. I finished after row 42 on mine, but you can carry on to whatever size you want. So row 3, if you remember, we did this normal starting with stack DC, 2 DC in the first stitch, then we skip 1 and chain 1, and then we double crochet in the next one, and skip 1, chain 1, double crochet in the next one. The only thing to watch out for is those funny bits in row 4 and 5, row 4 where you create the 4 together, and row 5 where you work into the middle of that 3DC with your 3DC clusters. Apart from that, it's really straightforward. I hope you're going to give it a go, and I'd love you to come over and share your pictures of your shawls with me, Gemma from Concrete Gems Crochet. So that's it for now. Don't forget to weave in all your ends and give it a good blocking. That will really help even out those stitches, especially for this one. Nicely opens it out really nicely. But apart from that, happy crocheting, and see you again soon for another tutorial from Concrete Gems Crochet. Bye for now.